What's up, y'all? It's Cody with The Value Show, Miss CBK. We just got done watching Rainey's Black Bottom. My man Kelvin Rosting killed this role.
I appreciate it.
You killed it.
Thanks, man.
But I want to ask you, when prepping for this, how culturally significant is this play today?
It's set in 1927, and unfortunately, it's still very relevant. I feel like August Wilson was beyond his time, was beyond his years, to even write this century cycle, because the African American experience in the 20th century is kind of being replayed in certain ways. So, I knew that he was touching on different aspects of different decades of the 20th century, but to see how relevant it all still is, it just it's one of those things where you listen to your parents say the adage, along your history, are you doomed to repeat it? We're seeing it right now. We're seeing that. It's just a real thing.
Well said. So the character Toledo, right?
Yeah.
What's it like prepping for it and being part of this cast?
Okay, it's incredible. So out of the 10 of the cycle, I've done 6, but Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is the only one that I've repeated. This is my 3rd time doing Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. The first time I was Sylvester. I was young. That's when I joined the union, so it was a big deal. Second time I played Levy up at Writers Theater. The first time at Sylvester was at Court Theater here. And then this time playing Toledo, so I've been able to see a couple of Toledos. So my Toledo is kind of a combination of those two people because they both were cold with it. But I was trying to figure out what is the significance of this being the one I repeated and this being my 3rd time. Actually, I'm a pianist as well.
Okay.
So actually being able to play live in this one, I don't know if it's been done. So, that on top of this being, Chuck Smith directing, and he has a documentary going on right now, on top of Harry Lennox being the associate director and musical director, on top of the cast being amazing, man, this is a moment in my life and career, so it's amazing to be part of this cast.
I told my boy, I said, look, I, not into film or whatever, but as far as like an actor, but I study, I grew up in church, so I know when somebody can play or not, right?
Yeah.
I know a musician. I was like, he's playing. That's not acting, because I'm looking at the horn, I'm like, he's not playing for real. But I'm looking at your fingers, I'm like, that man is playing.
You can play though.
Yeah.
But I am. Yeah, I was raised in the church.
So taking that experience and kind of seeing it all come full circle, you had to tap into some pain. I mean, like, I know some of the script, but even some of the lines you were quoting, like you telling us about, man, you dressing up like, the white man, all this stuff. How was that experience for you?
What I enjoy about Toledo is when he's talking about those things, he's still including himself. He's one of those early, I wanna bring the race up, one of those. I'll be trying to add in stuff like, hey, Levy, let me try to show you how to read this. Like little things like that. I have, the thing about August Wilson is he's written people that I know in my life. Yeah. And so I have an uncle like that, that wants to read everything. Sometimes can be a little overbearing. Let me let you know what I know. Toledo can do that too. But overall, he's wanting the community, the whole thing to rise up, not just himself. And that's one of the things I really love about that character.
Where can the people connect with you, man?
Oh, man. I have a Facebook page, Kelvin Roston Jr., Instagram, @Roston Jr., and what's the other one? I mean, Twitter or X. I mean, it's @Kelvin Roston, but Facebook and Instagram are the biggest ones.
Y'all connect with him on the gram, hit him up. Awesome, this is Cody with The Value Show, and it went down. Amazing performance. You were amazing as color.
Thank you, man.
First of all, let me ask you, I felt like watching your role, seeing you interact with the other actors, actresses, it wasn't like a timepiece stuck in the past. It felt like 2026 in a different context.
Yeah.
How did you bring that to the stage?
Well, I don't know that we brought that to the stage as much as life brings it to the stage, because when oftentimes you do period pieces and they're dealing with issues and you realize that 20, 40, 60, 100 years later, sometimes the same issues exist. They exist in different ways. Unfortunately for us, some of the same issues that these people deal with in 1927, we're still dealing with now. And they resonate, and every time you hear the audience go, they're hearing something that really feels close to home, and they lean in more because it's almost like history giving us a chance to to learn from it, us teaching a bit of history, and we're leaning forward because we forget that history is a teacher for us. So the plays that August writes, the stories he tells, are stories about people who have lived through some things, and if we pay attention, we can learn something from it.
True.
This is my Goodman Theater debut,
Okay.
and I couldn't ask for a better opportunity to work with the legendary Chuck Smith. Harry Lennox, who's not in the show but was the associate director and the music director on the show, another legendary Chicagoan, and then to work with Ife Butler. You know, I'm working with Chicago legends on a great play at a legendary theater. Working with young people who have watched me work. I worked with Kelvin Ralston before, and we talk about the times that we worked together where there was a learning experience for him. I've worked with Cedric Young, who's older than I, and he and I just today talked about my opportunities to continue to learn from him. So it's just a great group of people, storytellers. You know, we want to commit to the story.
How important is the theater? So we're having this debate, right, with the role of AI and how it's changing the landscape of cinematography, but I feel like theater is the last pure art form when it comes to true acting, because you can't mess up. You're in real time.
Yeah.
How precious is the art?
The art is precious. You can do a little research and you'll find out the effect of theater on children. That's all we need to know. You take your children to the theater and see what it does to and for them. Not just as their children, but as they evolve and grow into young adults and into adulthood. That's how important art is. That's how important theater is.
Appreciate you. Y'all, it went down. Amazing show. My Rainey's Black Bottom. See it here at the Goodman Theater. It's The Value Show.